Hello everyone, welcome back. We are going to do a GT Masterclass at Willowsprings International Raceway on the Big Willow circuit. So if you haven't seen the video in front of you before, I'll leave the link in the description, and it's just the video. But in this Masterclass, we're going to go through each corner step by step, the strategies to take, and maybe a few tips to help you out a little bit and go a bit faster. So yes, this is the Big Willow circuit, and as you can see, this is the end of my first lap. So a lot of the time is gained by coming off the last turn really quickly. Just a difference between, let's say, like 10 kilometers an hour can mean at least 2 seconds, 2 to 1 seconds at the end of the straight. So anyway, we'll just get started here, and we'll focus on the first corner first. So as we approach the first corner, hitting high speeds, as you can see, the braking zone is pretty much just before that 100 meter marker, using those cones as a reference. Or if you haven't used the cones, use the 100 meter marker. And as we continue on, we don't brake hard for very long, and we release off, and we start turning in just before we hit the 20 meter marker there, because you want to hit the apex on the inside. And as you can see, watch the accelerator data. You can see just before we hit the apex, I will go full, just under half. I'm increasing it. If you're on the apex perfectly, you see I've gone full throttle just at the apex. And a lot of people are afraid to do this, but I will show you something. So here we have an image of the first corner. As you can see, it's banked. Load up this, and I put down this ruler just to help you visualize what's going on. The bank is easily at about 8 degrees. So you can use that bank to help you turn the corner at a much faster speed. So turn that off. And yeah, because of this bank, you should be able to get on the accelerator at that apex there, and then using the full width of the track, come right out to the edge. So if we continue with the video, I'm at full throttle, using all that width, pretty much all of that width, hitting the edge right there. Full throttle, coming up to what they call the rabbit's ear. So the turning point is there. Just, you can see up in the top right, there's that marshal post. Start turning in, and what you want to do is, if you can, avoid the brakes. If not, just touch them to get that car rotating around the corner. And you want to stay middle. See how I'm staying middle? And you should be able to just control the corner with throttle. And you don't want to be on the steering wheel too hard, so you can maximize speed. Stay middle. And it's hard to find the apex here. Just finish it off. You can see the apex is coming up, and we're already at about full throttle. So we're able to maximize speed coming through the corner. So here's the rabbit's ear corner, and as I was saying, you want to stay middle for a lot of the corner that's before it. But as you start seeing, there's the apex there, it's very late into the corner. Start coming in, you want to hit it, but if you hit it too early, it's going to wreck your exit, because there's where you want to come out. So as we hit that apex perfectly, we're on full throttle all the way, using the full width of the track before we come up to our next braking zone here. So yeah, try to minimize braking. If you have to, just touch the brakes to get the car rotating around the corner. Stay middle, and as you get, like I said, it's about here, about 2/3 of the way through the corner, you should be starting to move on the inside to hit that apex, which is right there. Alright, so now we're making our way outside of the rabbit's ear and coming up to what they call the Omega complex. Full throttle all the way, like I said. you won't always get outside, but here this corner is very important. As you can see, there's a change in elevation. So the 50 meter mark, you can try and play around different cars, but you don't really want to break any later than that. If you got balls, maybe. I turn in quite early here, and what I do is, see that white line that we're following? It's a pretty good guide to tell you where you want to be. So if we can get inside pretty early, the banking and the undulation will actually help the car turn, and you should be able to hopefully use some throttle, practice with it. Too much and you'll end up oversteering when you come out, sometimes even understeering depending on if you're too deep or too shallow. And I've come out not perfect, but what you want to do, you want to try and come a straight line out of that corner. So I straighten up as I hit that corner. So we'll go back to the start of the Omega complex. Yeah, so here's the Omega complex I was talking about, and as you can see, there's a massive elevation change from the bottom to the top. And like I said, there's that white line you can help follow through. So I come in, I brake, and then you got to just ease off the brakes to help you turning, trail brake a little bit, and try and straighten your exit for the next corner that's here. I did come a little bit wide out to here, but if you get it perfect, you can pretty much run a straight line through the next corner. So there's the first start of the Omega complex. There's your good representation of the elevation change. And yeah, this is where we're coming around to the end of it. And like I was saying, what you want to try and do is when you've exited, try and get a straight line straight up through here. And then I do something a little bit unorthodox. So as we're coming up, I brake in a straight line, slight angle, and then I just partially turn the car around at the start of that Toyota sign on the inset there. You see on the left hand side where the Toyota branding has started, and just half throttle it, and then you should hit that apex because it's quite late and it's hidden, so it's hard to see. And then once you come out wide, you can then full throttle down and off we go. If we continue down, hit this braking zone. It's important to get straight as possible here before we hit the next turn. So get a lot of braking in, ease off the brakes, try and hit this apex here. You got to turn quite early, and then what you should be able to do, hit it and then just bang hard on the accelerator, full throttle all the way through this section, using all of the road, trying to make the corners as straight as possible. Then here, this is where we start turning in. You see that white line that's been left on the track there? You want to stay on the inside of that initially. Hit that first apex. Keep that accelerator down as hard as you can. And then from here, gently glide over to the left-hand side of the track. And there we are. That's our first 250 meter board marker there. So as you can see, that white line I was talking about, you can see it runs all the way through. But what you want to do is once the apex is just back there, start gliding all the way, and you want to get to the very edge of the track at about the 250 mark. And then come across, braking in between those two marker boards and controlling, very light steering, controlling it with the throttle. Braking zone. You can actually brake a lot later if you feel like it. Just after, it wasn't a lot. But here you can see, start turning in on that white line and stay on that white line. It's easy to turn too much and you'll apex too soon, but you'll lose all that speed coming out and you might even understeer. So this is a hard turn. You want to see I'm about half throttle. Control the car with your throttle and leave your steering inputs at about the same angle throughout the full corner. You'll find where it is for you, but you really shouldn't have to turn left and right adjustments. once you get it right. You should just be able to sit on half throttle, and then you'll see the apex coming up and you can see it there. Now something interesting about this corner as well. So as we can see, this corner is banked. You can easily see the outside of the car is not level with the inside. So as we're turning, all the weight is now pushed on the outside of the car, so it's doing a lot of the work and carrying a lot of the car. But because we've got this bank as well, you can keep up a much higher speed than I've seen some people do it. Now, when you hit this apex, you don't want to touch the inside, otherwise you'll send your car flying off over to this direction. But if you turn in right, this is where the banking, it sort of ends here, and when you hit it, the car will just straighten up, and it'll straighten up to get to the exit there. So you'll be turning, you'll never think you'll make it. As soon as you hit that, it'll just straighten right up for the exit, and you'll have maximum speed coming out onto the straight. So here we are, I'm just about to hit the apex there. Car straightens up, and we've got max speed coming through, and we get a pretty decent time, 1:17. There we have it. The leaderboards, I think by the end of the day, 1:15, so it wasn't too bad. So if you do improve your speed coming off that back straight there, you will get a much quicker time. Depending on your speed, you can lose like 3 seconds just by being down a couple of kilometers. So there we have it, people. That's the full breakthrough of the Big Willow circuit. Hopefully that's helped you out a little bit. If you've got a track you're struggling with, let us know, and we can do a full breakdown next time. So thanks for joining in, guys. I've been Tyneside. This is Demo 1 Garage, and I'll see you later. Remember to race hard and race on the edge.